You've probably never heard of Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. But this tiny coal town in Schuylkill County holds secrets that changed American history, secrets that were never supposed to leave the valley. Coming in at number 20, Tamaqua sits where two waterways collide. The Little Schuylkill River and Panther Creek meet here, and this exact spot is why the town exists at all. In 1799, settlers built the region's first sawmill right at this junction, powering it with rushing water from both sources. Tamaqua almost had a completely different name. Founders wanted to call it Tuscarora, but another Pennsylvania town had already claimed that name. They settled on Tamaqua instead, naming it after a Lenape chief, and it became the only place on earth with this name. Walk through Tamaqua's streets and you'll see something architectural historians obsess over. The town showcases four distinct Victorian styles: Queen Anne, Late Victorian, Italianate, and Colonial Revival, all within walking distance. Most were built between 1900 and 1925, creating a living museum of turn-of-the-century American architecture. The town's Victorian houses have something unusual crowning their rooftops. Those ornate iron spires weren't mass-produced, they were handcrafted right in Tamaqua's own foundries. Local blacksmiths forged each unique piece, turning molten iron into the decorative crowns that still top these century-old homes. In 1902, Tamaqua became a battlefield. The Great Coal Strike brought martial law to the region as 150,000 miners walked off the job. Armed soldiers patrolled Tamaqua's streets for months until the United Mine Workers won their first major victory in American labor history. Getting around Tamaqua's steep hills posed a unique challenge. Engineers solved it by building 3 sets of iron staircases connecting hillside neighborhoods directly to downtown. These iron steps are still used daily by residents, linking homes built on slopes too steep for roads. Chief Tamaqua's name carries a hidden meaning. Tamaqua comes from the Lenape word Tamaqua, which means beaver. The chief was the grandson of the legendary Tamanend, and his namesake town sits right where beavers once dammed these mountain streams. In 1799, 3 men ventured into the Schuylkill wilderness. Burkhart Moser, his son Jacob, and John Kirshner built the first shelters where Tamaqua now stands. They had no idea they were founding a town that would help power the Industrial Revolution. A fire-gutted train station sat abandoned for decades. Volunteers bought the ruins for $25,000 in 1992 and spent 13 years raising money for restoration. They transformed the charred 1874 depot into a stunning heritage center, with a final price tag of $1.5 million. Tamaqua's downtown isn't just old, it's officially historic. The National Register of Historic Places includes 976 buildings here, with 97% considered historically significant. That's one of the highest contributing percentages of any historic district in America. Almost nothing has been torn down or altered since 1950. On November 18, 1831, horse-drawn coaches made history. 2 Baltimore-built coaches carried dignitaries on the grand opening of the Little Schuylkill Railroad, 22 miles from Port Clinton to Tamaqua. Horses pulled the coaches along strap-iron rails laid on wooden beams, inaugurating one of America's first commercial railroads. In 1817, Burkhart and Jacob Moser discovered something black and hard in the ground. They'd found anthracite coal, the hardest, hottest burning coal in the world, and didn't realize they'd just unlocked Pennsylvania's future. Within decades, Tamaqua transformed from a frontier outpost into an industrial powerhouse, as coal from this valley fueled America's factories, railroads, and cities. In 2023, the United States Postal Service issued a stamp featuring a small-town train station. That station was Tamaqua's, one of only a handful of historic railroad depots chosen for the honor. The 1874 Italianate building, restored from fire-damaged ruins, now appears on millions of letters carrying a piece of Pennsylvania coal country across America. One Tamaqua factory became an industrial giant. Allen machine shops grew from a small workshop into the largest foundry in Pennsylvania, employing over 400 workers and filling an entire city block. Even today, century-old machinery across America still bears the stamp Allen of Tamaqua, proof this small town built equipment that built the nation. On July 6, 1875, a police officer climbed a ladder to extinguish a street lamp in Tamaqua. Two men stepped from the shadows and shot Benjamin Yost dead, the town's only officer ever killed in the line of duty. That murder gave prosecutors the evidence they needed, for men were hanged for the killing, breaking the back of the Maguires secret society that had terrorized Pennsylvania's coal fields. The name Tamaqua appears on maps, road signs, and official documents. But if you search the entire planet, you won't find another place with this name anywhere. Tamaqua, Pennsylvania is the only Tamaqua on Earth, making it geographically unique among the world's 4.4 million named locations. Look closely at the railroad tracks running through Tamaqua. They're not just old, they're the oldest rail line in the New World still serving its original purpose. The entire 1831 rail bed from Tamaqua to Port Clinton remains intact and active, with freight trains still rolling over routes laid down 194 years ago. In 2006, a Pennsylvania coal town did something no community had ever done before. Tamaqua passed Ordinance 612, declaring that ecosystems, rivers, forests, and wetlands have legal rights just like people. It was the first rights of nature law in human history, letting any resident sue on behalf of a polluted creek or damaged hillside, and it sparked a global movement. In 1885, electric lights flickered on in a small Pennsylvania town. Tamaqua became only the second municipality in the entire United States to install Edison's incandescent street lighting system. While most of America still walked dark streets lit by oil or gas, Tamaqua's residents strolled under the revolutionary glow of Edison Electric, making this coal town a beacon of the electrical age. And finally, at number 1, Tamaqua holds a world record that sounds impossible for a town of just 7,000 people. This tiny borough is home to the first rights of nature law ever passed on planet Earth, but it's also the birthplace of America's second electric grid, the oldest continuously operating railroad in the Western Hemisphere, and the murder that ended the most feared secret society in American labor history. It has a unique name shared by no other place worldwide. It pioneered environmental personhood 17 years before any country did. Its foundries built machines still working a century later. Its railroad station earned a U.S. postage stamp. And its historic district preserves 976 buildings at a 97% contributing rate unmatched in America. Tamaqua isn't just a footnote in Pennsylvania history, it's the small town that changed how Americans mine coal, power cities, fight for workers' rights, protect nature, and preserve the past. From a 1799 wilderness outpost to a 2006 environmental revolution, this single valley in Schuylkill County has punched far, far above its weight for more than 2 centuries. And almost nobody knows it exists. You came here thinking Tamaqua was just another forgotten coal town. Now you know the truth. It's the place where rivers meet, where coal was found, where rails were laid, where electricity blazed, where labor fought, where a cop was killed, where justice was served, where nature gained rights, and where history was made over and over again. Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. Remember the name. It's the only one in the world.